One of the most common questions I get from people wanting to move to the Big Island is, how much rainfall does the Big Island get? Is it a tropical island or is it more of a dry island? And the answer to that is always a little complicated because with the Big Island in particular, it really does matter where on the island we're talking about and what elevation you're living in. The difference in rainfall depending on the location on the island can vary drastically, anywhere from 8 inches to 300 inches of rainfall per year. I would say that elevation is the most important part, especially if you're somebody that wants to have a water catchment system to catch the rainfall and use it as your potable water. If you don't have enough rain, then you're going to end up having to call out a truck to come and refill your tank. But whether you want to have a catchment system or not, rainfall is an important consideration if you're planning to move to the Big Island. So in this video, I'm going to go around the whole island and explain what kind of a rainfall you can expect in every single part of the island. If I had to summarize it, it would be pretty simple. The east side of the island is the wet side, the rainy side, and the west side of the island is the dry and sunny side. The reason for this is because the trade winds on the Big Island, they go from east to west. And right in the middle of the island, there's two big mountains. We have Mauna Loa and Mauna Kea. And those tend to trap and keep the weather and the rainfall stuck there on the east side of the island. So not a lot of rain makes it past those mountains. But just because it's the west side doesn't mean that everything is going to be dry. Elevation plays a key role. The lower the elevation, the closer you are to the coast, the less rainfall you're typically going to get. And the higher you go, anywhere from 1,000 to 2,000 feet, the more rainfall you're going to get. This means that it's totally possible for a property on the coastline to only get about 10 inches of rainfall per year, but if you go up the road, a property there might be getting 40 or 50 inches per year. But anyway, let's get over to our Big Island map and go over how much rainfall every area of the island typically gets. I'm going to start with Kailua Kona because that's where we live. If you live on the ocean level elevation, you can expect to get about 30 to 35 inches of rainfall per year. And if you go into higher elevation, 1,000 feet plus, then you can expect to get around 50 inches. If we travel north from Kona about 45 minutes, we get to a place called Waikoloa Village, which is much drier. It's kind of like a lava desert out there. And the reason for this is because that area only gets about 10 to 15 inches of rainfall per year. If we travel another half an hour or so north, we reach Waimea, which gets about 65 inches of rain per year. West to Waimea, we have the Kohala Mountains, and there we have higher elevations, so you can expect to get a little bit more rainfall that way. And if we start traveling east from Waimea, in about half an hour, we're going to reach the Hamakua coast, which is by Honoka'a. I used to actually live in that city. That place is amazing. We totally loved it. The only downside is that it's far from everything. All the big stores are very far away, an hour plus, and pretty much everybody, all your friends and family, lives either in Kona or Hilo, which is also an hour plus drive. But I digress. The rainfall in the Hamakua coast raises significantly compared to all those other places. It jumps up to 100 inches per year. And in higher elevations, it can go up to 200 inches per year. The reason for this is because the Hamakua coast faces the east winds. There's nothing blocking them. And if we keep driving east for another 50 minutes or so, we get to Hilo, where the rainfall per year is at its peak. At sea level, Hilo gets about 40 inches of rain per year, but just a short trip up the hill can increase it all the way up to 220 inches per year. And with higher elevations, that goes even higher. And if we head south from Hilo, we get into the Puna district, which is by Pahoa. There, you can expect anywhere from 100 to 140 inches of rainfall per year. The elevation doesn't get too high in this area, so we don't see rainfall going up to 200 inches. But if we go a little bit west where the elevation does rise in Curtistown and Mountain View, then we do see rainfall that can go over 200 inches. And if we keep going south from there, we get to the Kau district, which is very similar to the west side of the island and Kona. On the sea level, you get about 25 inches of rainfall per year, and in higher elevations, that goes up to 50 or 60 inches. And after we're done with the south side of the island, we can head north back up to Kona. And one more city that is worth mentioning that is pretty popular is Captain Cook. Captain Cook on lower elevations is about 15 to 20 inches of rainfall per year, and in higher elevations is somewhere between 40 to 50 inches. Captain Cook is really beautiful, it's lush and green. One of the only downsides is the very windy roads. In fact, starting from Captain Cook and going all the way south, there's a whole lot of that windy road going on. And we're back in Kona. Thank you for taking the trip around the Big Island with me. As you can see, depending on where you live on the island, the amount of rainfall you can get annually can vary drastically. If you want more information on a specific part of the island, or you're looking to buy or sell property on the Big Island, reach out to me and I'll be happy to chat. All my contact information can be found in the video description. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you next time. And if you made it all the way to the end of the video, let me ask you a question. Do you know why you can't hear a pterodactyl go to the bathroom? That's because the P is silent.